I won $25,000 in a national science competition for giving fruit flies anxiety. Hi, my name is Gavriela Kalish-Schur, and I'm a senior at Masterman High School in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And I'm a 2024 Regeneron Science Talent Search finalist. I've known sort of my whole life that I wanted to do science, and then in high school, more specifically, I became really interested in neuroscience. I think because in many ways we know so little about the brain, but it has so much potential to impact so many fields like anxiety and mental health and so many others. Anxiety is an increasingly prevalent issue, especially among young people, and the current therapies that are available are either not as effective as they could be or very expensive or both. I was interested in understanding what's happening on a cellular level with anxiety because that can allow us to develop more targeted, more effective treatments. Current therapies available for anxiety and other mood disorders target really the end of what's happening on a cellular level, but if my project looks at the folding of proteins that happens, targeting these proteins can allow us to provide more effective treatments. I looked at a particular pathway called the IRB1 pathway, and I knocked down this pathway in the brains of fruit flies. Knocking down a pathway is sort of like turning down the volume when you're listening to music, and then I observed their behavior. To observe their behavior, I use something called a wall following assay, and essentially the way it works is like, imagine you're at a party and you're not super comfortable there. You're more likely to spend more time on the outside of the party compared to the center of the dance floor, and the same is true in flies. So the flies that spend more time on the outside of a little dish compared to the center are said to have anxiety behavior. And from there, I looked at how the knockdown of this pathway changed the levels of protein in the flies. And what I found is that depending on where IRE1 was knocked down in the brain, the flies had different protein levels. Understanding the relationship between IRE1 and anxiety is important because it can help us develop more targeted treatments for humans for anxiety. I want to pursue a career as a physician scientist, and I'm fascinated with neuroscience. I plan to study that in college, and I think that there's a lot of work to be done in the field of neuroscience, in mental health, and these mechanisms behind anxiety and other mental health disorders, as well as more broadly understanding how the mind works and how we can use what we already know and new techniques to develop cures for diseases that harm a lot of people.